Hi, my name is Andre Johnson. I am 31 years of age. I'm married to my high school sweetheart, Andrea Johnson. Most wonderful thing besides Christ that's happened to me in my life. My relationship with God at that time was non-existent. I needed to be able to see and touch and understand and examine evidence. I was not able to extract and examine the substance of reality of God, so I didn't believe it. There was a point in time when I was 16 that my mother went back to church, and she walked down the aisle. Didn't think a whole lot of it until Mom came back, and I could see that she had tears all over her face. I was like, wow, Mom, what happened? And she said, I rededicated my life to Jesus. I started needing more substantive answers. If I asked somebody in the church, they would ask me a bunch of questions that I just didn't want to deal with. I didn't want somebody to ask me, you don't believe in God? My girlfriend and I had been together for 2 years at this point, and one night we had a conversation, and when the conversation turned to God, these questions came up. Is God real? How can you even know that for sure? Why would he care about me? They say that Jesus is God, but how can a man be God? How would that even work? Why did he have to die for me to be right with God? Is God even real? Andrea looked at me and she told me, I don't know the answers to your questions, but I know what you should do. You should pray. I believed that there was a God, that God was real at this point in my life, but I still had a firm belief if I made good decisions, if I did things right, that things would go okay. I was in control of my life. But things in my life started spiraling out of control. I started doing poorly in school. I wound up losing my job. I had bills that I need to pay, and I didn't have any money. My girlfriend and I, at the time, were doing what young men and women do, and she was late. I was in my room, and the full weight of everything just came down on me all at once, and I was broken. It was at that very point that my mother came into the room, unprompted, unannounced, but she just walked into the room. She didn't say anything. She just put her hand on my head and just started calling out to God for me, and it was all I could take. I completely broke down. I went out to check the mail, and in the mailbox were 2 checks that I was not expecting. There was a check from the job that I lost my vacation time paid up. And there was also another check from the job that I had watching the reception desk. The total amount of these two checks combined was exactly to the dime the amount of money that I needed to pay those bills that I was fretting about. I realized that all of this trust that I was putting into my ability, into my mind, into my ability to understand things, God was showing me that my mind was like this. It was minuscule, and that God was not limited, that He was infinite. He showed me that He loved me, that even though I was doing poorly, that it wasn't up to me to hold myself and to keep myself in His grace, that He Himself held me and kept me with His grace. I accepted Jesus Christ that day. My life changed. I wanted to read the Bible. I was excited. I was enthralled by the Bible. When I would open it up, it would make sense. This hadn't happened before. My life was completely different. I was blessed to marry that phenomenal woman, Andrea. Leading up to the wedding, I wanted to say some very nice things at the reception about my wife. As I was writing, I was thinking about all of these things about God and how great God was, and I got my Bible and I, quoted scripture, and before I knew it, I had this very complete speech. After I gave that speech, my pastor came up to me and to my mother and said, "Young man, that was very good. I'd like to have you speak in my church." I didn't think he was serious at all, but I would find out later that he was very serious. God gave me my call. He told me that I was to be a pastor. This was at a point in time in my life where there was nothing in my life that looked like I was gonna be a pastor. I asked God when He said that to me in prayer, how? And He said, just obey. Obey and follow. I truly love God, but He loved me first. He loved me so much that He gave His one and only Son that I could have a relationship with Him. Because I love Him, it is my joy and my pleasure to obey Him. My name is Andre, and this isn't just my story. This is His story.